So, hey everybody, this is Nelson Pizarro with Life in a Wine Bottle, where we take an in-depth look at what it takes to create a bottle of wine and why the wine world is so much fun. Make sure you follow us on Instagram, Twitter, YouTube channels, Spotify, and the podcast at Life in a Wine Bottle. The topic for today is wine region, and we're going to be very specific. It's going to be in San Diego, within the county, called Ramona. All right. It's established. The RVVA got established in 2006. We currently have over 115 wineries in San Diego County. And I'm doing this to promote our wineries, to help out each other. So our first guest today, or our only guest today, will be Susanne. She's with Vineyard Grand James. And let's talk to her about how the vineyard's going. And then she is actually the president of the RVVA. So she's going to tell us a little bit of what's going on and how she's going to be able to help promote the Ramona Valley specifically. So first off, thank you very much. I appreciate it. Thank you for doing this. We're going to, usually I talk about what we did in the vineyard. Did you do anything this week in the vineyard or in the winery?
We did. So this week we are continuing to do what they call shoot placement. Mm-hmm. So you've got to place the shoots from the grapevines up through the wires. They tend to want to sprawl out, and so we have to place them against their will. Yeah. Basically, I told another guest that I had last week. Basically, it's just having if you have long hair, and you had it over your eyes, and you can't see anything, so you got to kind of move it up, and that's kind of what we're doing. We're kind of putting the shoots up, our vines up, so we can kind of see the grapes, let some sun get onto the grapes, and that's how you start building the sugar content. And also, getting the grapes ready for harvest. Mm-hmm. So for myself, I had to weed whack. I had to weed whack between the vines, which is never fun. I hired a couple of guys to help out, and they were busy the next day, so I had to finish re-whacking. So it is what it is, but at least the vineyard looks nice and pretty. I can see where the water is dripping, so I know it's getting down to the vines. So that's what I did this week in the vineyard. Yeah. Oh, yeah. No, we did the weed whacking. So you mow in the center aisle, then you got a weed whack, or a lot of times people will mow under the vines. And then we've also got to keep on top of powdery mildew. So far, I have not seen it.
Yeah, I'm doing well too.
Yeah. And so the best protocol is to rotate with 3 different classes of products, which is what I do. So we actually used a different class today, and then we'll work in powdery, it's for the powdery mildew, the microionized sulfur, and we spray it. So we've done that, and the shoot placing and the weed whacking.
Oh, perfect. Yeah, so the vineyard work never stops, even though we're still in that little phase. We are recording a month prior, but we're still in the phase of opening wineries. So we're still working when nobody's still here.
Yeah, right? Oh, yeah.
It doesn't stop. The work doesn't stop.
Yep.
So great. So tell us a little bit how you, what do you do prior to the winery? Or were you always in the wine business?
No, we were in downtown San Diego and then decided to do this. So I kind of joke the proverbial jumping out of an airplane without a parachute. So we did it because we could. Yeah. And I kind of find it, for me, all the things I loved, right? I loved working with plants, gardening. I loved entertaining. I loved cooking. And it's actually all paths led to this point. So it's a way of, for me, integrating and expressing all the things that I love to do. And all 3 components. There's the farming, the viticulture, the grape growing, the winemaking, and all the chemistry and the work that's involved with that. And then the hospitality component and the experience of the wine tasting. People like to see where the grapes were growing, where the wine was made, and then who's made it and where it's served.
And that's basically, like I was telling her, that's why I really created Life in a Wine Bottle. Because there's so much that gets involved with just building just one bottle of wine, no matter if you created 1,000 cases or you just created 25 cases. Yeah. It's the same process. Somebody had to decide to do it. Mm-hmm. They had to be crazy enough to do it, because this isn't something that it's not a get rich scheme. This is a labor of love that it doesn't stop.
Yeah.
Wherever you start at, it doesn't stop. All right, the next basic question that I would like to ask, and a lot of guests always come to me and they always say, I would love to own a winery. I would love to be part of the winery. I would love to have my name on a bottle. Well, you're doing it, okay? So how did Vineyard Grand James start? Where did this all come from?
Like I said, we were living downtown. My husband didn't want to live downtown anymore. And we actually came up, looked for property, put the vineyards in.
So before that part, when you said you're coming up from downtown San Diego to Ramona, which is about 30 plus miles away east of downtown San Diego, you already decided you want to do a vineyard?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Yes, so you're one of the few. Usually people come up here, they want to get away from people. And then, I have a couple acres. Yeah. Let me just put some vines in, correct? Yeah. So you're already predestined to put a vineyard. Yeah.
So we moved in December, and by January 1, we were out there with our little shovels.
What year?
Digging holes. 11 years ago.
Okay, 11 years ago. Yeah. So that would be 2009?
Yeah. Yeah.
Around 2008, 2009?
9, yeah. So 8, and then by 9.
So just like us. Yeah? The Stanley family, yeah. My father-in-law actually lived there 6 years prior. And until I showed up, that's when the vineyard kind of popped into place. So it could be good and bad. I don't know. You started at about 11, or you moved up here, so about 11 years ago. And you just said, I want to do a vineyard. Was there any knowledge prior to that? Were you talking to anybody? Or did you just get a book and just start reading about it?
Yeah, that's exactly what I did.
Okay.
I went, the very first thing I did the night we decided to do this, I actually went on to Amazon and bought every used book they had on winemaking.
Okay.
And since then, I've talked to a lot of people. I've gone to a lot of classes, read a lot of books, periodicals, talking to people, continuing. Just like I said, during this lockdown, there's a series on iconic winemakers, so I've been following that. And there's always something to learn, and there's always something new. I'm amazed all the new things that continue to evolve in the wine world.
Yeah, it never changes, and good and bad.
Yeah.
Right? You think you're going to use it, you try it, but then 2 years go down, and you go back to the same ways. So it's always a learning process, and then, sometimes you get stuck in your ways.
Yeah.
Because you see that they're working.
Yeah,
right?
You like them, or everything's are changing. You've got to be willing to evolve, right? Tastes are going to change. The whole packaging, right?
Yep,
they're
packaging,
saying, and glass
the weather,
is expensive. Corks are expensive and difficult and becoming harder to get. The weather's changing. Environmental concerns, sustainability. So the wine industry will evolve and change just like everything does.
Yes, it's a big process. So, as I said in the beginning, before I move on with that part, we got to, if we can, and I'm going to post this prior, what was the award that you're trying to win?
Oh, there is the newspaper in San Diego, the Union Tribune, has a best of, best restaurant, best hotel, and so they've got a best local winery, and we've been nominated. So
perfect. So we're going to have to vote for him. Obviously, there's going to be a month prior, but I'm going to shoot something on Instagram and kind of promote that a little bit and help them win that best of winery. Is it small winery or just winery?
A local winery.
Local winery. Yeah. Okay, so we can help them win that one. So I was saying that in 2006, the RVVA, which is our region, that's where we started, or that's how it all started around here. And now you are the president of the RVVA, correct?
Yeah.
But so how did that decision happen? Why did you choose to become the president, or that they chose you? What happened there?
So the RVVA is the Ramona Valley Vineyard Association, and it's an organization founded to basically help all the grape growers. So there's about 250 grape growers in Ramona and Highland Valley, and then in that area there's about 45 wineries. So we still meet monthly and we'll talk about winemaking or grape growing. The last meeting we had was about watering, monitoring your watering in your grapevine. We had another one in which we talked about procedures in the winemaking room. We talked about racking and aerating your wine. So a range of different topics and speakers. So that's how the organization came to be. It was just, I believe it just started with a handful of grape growers and winemakers here.
Just helping each other out.
Helping each other out. Here's what I learned, or we all collect together, we all come together. Maybe we can purchase something at a little bit lower price and get a discount.
And now you're the president. I didn't mention you're the winemaker at Vineyard Grand James. And what was the other thing? Oh, the first president. That's what I was going to say. First women, right? Right now, the first RVV woman president. Yeah. So now you decided, what was the reason that you just wanted to give back, or did you see any benefits?
A tremendous amount of benefits, because you can't do this alone. There's too much. There's too much that you have to know, to learn, to do, too many facets to the business to do it by yourself without any input or help from your friends and colleagues. And I mean, I've gotten a tremendous amount of help, and in addition to camaraderie from the RVVA. Yeah. I had been involved. I started out in, I want to say maybe I was on the marketing committee. I think I said in the marketing committee.
Yeah, I believe I always see your name.
Yeah, and then I was emails. Like the marketing chair, and then I have then moved up to the president. It's definitely a way to give back, and a way, because for the wine industry, a guest doesn't just come to a winery; they come to a wine region.
Correct.
So it benefits all of us to all grow good grapes and all make good wine. That's how Ramona will become known, respected. People will enjoy and earn a good reputation. So it's kind of when they, tide comes in, all the boats go up.
Correct. Yeah, that's exact. So perfect. So you, and that's where I like to share about this, the experience that I've been having with everybody. I'm a little bit younger. I'm in a different stage of my life with kids, that are younger. I'm making wine, growing a vineyard, but I can always call somebody, in the RVVA. So I believe that's one of the a special trait, because we're just talking prior to this, and we're just saying, competition is great, but it can hurt too, because you always feel like, oh, if I give a little help to this person, then that customer might stay over there and they might not come back to us, But here, I feel like in general, almost everybody is really trying to work for each other and not against each other,
I think what you need to see it as, not like there's a pie and that every time somebody comes, your slice of the pie gets smaller. What you need to see is that by helping, the pie will get bigger. And if the pie gets bigger, there's more slices, and all the slices are bigger.
That's perfect. That's a perfect way to look at it.
You got to think of it in those terms.
Yeah, in a big way, not a macro, a macro way.
Right, not as the pieces getting smaller, but as the whole pie getting bigger.
Correct. So that's where I enjoy being part of the RVVA and learning, and even when I can't go to the meetings, obviously right now they're in Zoom, but I still get an email. And I can read through it, and then I can either question or use advice that they had. And obviously that's the biggest thing of winemaking. You go to 10 winemakers and you get 10 different responses. Yeah. And who are you going to trust? Unless you physically do each one of them, and then you say, "Oh, okay, I see this one works. I'm going to stay with this path." So so you became the president because you're basically giving back at the end of the day.
Yeah.
You just enjoy it, and you're just giving back, and you're learning a lot. So while being part of the president side of it, what are you trying to accomplish? Is there any goals in mind that you have there?
As being president of the RVVA?
I
think to just improve the overall reputation and quality of the vineyard, getting the word out, right? Letting the world know that Ramona's growing great grapes and making great wine. And then being able to share what resources I have. Like we've got our last meeting. We actually have the pest specialist here in Ramona, or actually for the San Diego area. She knows all the pests, all the diseases, and it's like she came in our Zoom meeting, talked for a few minutes, introduced herself. It's like, here, take a picture, and you can send it to the region's expert, and she can tell you dut disease or what it means
Powdery
if you're
mildew,
are
you
they
know.
curling on the edge or a zinc deficiency, and
So that's
just
really
sharing
nice.
all the resources.
Yeah, because I don't think you understand. It's kind of like if you're growing tomatoes or if you're growing any vegetable, one plant's doing really, really good.
Yeah.
And then the one right next to it is dying.
Yeah.
Or it's a different color.
Yeah.
And you're just like, I don't understand. I put the same exact things to that one, to this one, and there's something going on with it.
Yeah.
Well, now imagine if you had 1,000 vines, or 3,000 vines, and the more for the listeners to think about. Now you're like, you walk through a vineyard, you're like, what the heck happened here?
Yeah.
A gopher could have got it.
Yep.
A spider. There's powdery mildew. There's just so many different things, deficiencies that you have to take in consideration when you're doing this. So recording. Oops. Oh yeah, it's recording. All right. So now, for my personal purpose, we're gonna use it for. The question I'm starting off is what the challenges with the RVVA. Okay. All right. So we just moved spots. Susanne had a great idea based on her experience. She was seeing she didn't like, right, that a lot of the wine podcasting YouTube channels, they're very stagnant. They're just right there, and they just kind of, you only see this part right here.
Yeah.
Which is hard because we get it. We're just talking about the Zoom stuff. But since we're out here in the outdoor, I think it's better to do it this way, like she recommended. So that's why we're moving a little bit, so you can kind of get a better view of her patio, where we're at. How many people can you hold here? What would you say in this little section?
This little patio, comfortably probably 20 people.
Okay.
But we've got all kinds of additional areas that we set people out in the vines, which they enjoy, and in the back patio. And
oh, nice. How many people in the vines back there?
We can do probably in like each row, like 2 tables of 6.
Oh, nice.
Yeah,
okay. Yeah, so you can have a good little picnic out there.
Yeah.
Obviously, it gets a little bit warm.
Yep, it
here,
does.
So this is a nice shaded spot. A good breeze is coming through. So it's a perfect spot. So another part that I always like asking is the challenges that you get as a business owner / the RVVA. So we'll go first with the RVVA, and let us know what kind of challenge have you been facing with since you just started, correct? The president side, but you've been with them. So what do you see let's just say 1 or 2 big challenges that you see with the RVVA?
I'm assuming this is probably a broader, longer reach question, right?
Yeah.
But
You're small. We can make it nothing too crazy.
Though? It's probably just looking at the problem right in front of us, which at this current time is all the wineries are still closed. So that's a big one. The economic challenges ahead, right? Is there going to be a recession like they talk about? If so,
election year,
how will we be impacted? So that's probably the question, or the concern most directly right in front of us now. And then maybe broader reach or industry wide is drinking wine, right? Are the millennials drinking wine? Is that next generation drinking wine?
Or is it more beer?
Yeah, more beer,
consumption,
more craft.
But I don't know. I think they are growing. I always get that. That's a big question for my age range. When I'm a little bit younger, and the friends that come up, most of them have no clue about wine, right? So obviously you got to start somewhere, like everybody else. Yeah. Nobody knows about wine. You just start somewhere.
Yeah.
And I always tell them, I said, I think the biggest thing is when you start tasting wine, specifically wine, not alcohol, but wine, you're in a different stage of your life. You start becoming, your kids might be getting a little bit older, if you have kids, and they're staying home, and then you're going out, going to more fancier dinners. they pair it with the wines. So your lifestyle is changing a little bit, and then usually you start making a little bit more money, and then that helps out a lot as well. So I think wine, it's more of a transition. So we're just waiting for, hopefully, the millennials to transition from that stage to the next stage, So, but I don't know. I'm assuming that's what's going to happen.
But there's a lot of very drinkable, approachable wines at a really good price point. So you don't need to wait till you're a certain age or phase of your life. You can start drinking. Your taste can evolve as you discover more or learn more.
And with foods and
but there's a very drinkable. I mean, anybody that's of the age to drink or has an interest in wine can start.
Correct.
And you read what's on the label. You can look it up about it on the internet. And I would say wine is much. There's something to be afraid of. It's much more approachable than you realize. It's food friendly. It's kind of one of life's little luxuries. It's like a little luxury you can give yourself, right, while you're cooking dinner.
Correct. And
I love a good wine.
I love that you say that, because wine, I think they got built into a very, and kind of like a little bubble, very pristine, that, if I don't have money, or if I came from this region, I know more about wine. No, I think everybody in general, you have to learn about wine. I think that's what the biggest thing is. You learn about it, and then you have fun learning about wine. You start talking to the winemakers, you start going to the vineyards, and you really are bonded to them. That at the end of the day, and that experience when you open up the bottle of wine and you share it, you pour a glass, you remember the memories that you had with either speaking with the winemakers or walking through the vineyard with the friends, and then you have the stories that you talk about when you have wine. So it's it's complex, but please don't be intimidated.
Yes,
right? That's the biggest.
And it doesn't actually have to be complex. There's more to drinking wine than, right? That's a lot of work, right?
Yeah.
Go
just
out,
have a good time.
But go out to the winery and meet the winemaker. You can just buy super good bottle of wine, very drinkable, approachable, nothing hard about it at the grocery store. Or I think you can buy it at the pharmacy.
Yeah, they're all over the place.
They're all over the place. Lots of good wine. And so to start, to find out what you like, and then you're like, I kind of like lighter wines, or I like darker wines, or I like white wines. Different wines for different seasons or different moods.
Perfect. So let's do, since we're talking about wines, let's do a quick shout out to Vineyard Grand James. Go ahead and grab your bottle.
Oh, all right.
And talk a little bit about which one do you have today.
So
I know you grabbed it randomly.
I actually not completely. So
okay.
Here, this is the Super Tuscan.
Nice.
So one of the predominant varietals in this bottle is the Sangiovese. So there's a lot of Sangiovese being grown in Ramona.
Yes.
And we've got a lot here on the property. So all the grapes behind us are Sangiovese.
Oh, nice.
And so it's kind of fun. So I tell people when they do come to visit, I go, you drive up through the Sangiovese, so it's kind of fun. So you see the Sangiovese, right? It goes up to the barn to get made, and then comes back down to the patio.
Perfect. And then give us some your handle names, Twitter, Instagram. Do you have any of that stuff? Social media?
Yeah, and I think it's all like hashtag Vineyard Grand James.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, so hashtag Vineyard Grand James, all in one word. So make sure you follow them and like them on Facebook and Instagram. So, you can support them, and then when you come out, you can kind of check out this beautiful area here. Moving on to the next part, we got the wine regions. There's hundreds of wine regions, right? Everybody always says they have their favorite, okay? How can we get people to like Ramona wine region? Where is it? What do you think we need to do to get to that stage that people say, oh, Ramona, I know that region? I know it's a challenging question, but how can we help for the listeners and the viewers to say, oh, okay, I want to go stop by there, from somebody that's never heard about Ramona?
In order for Ramona to be known, a lot of people find out about a wine through a restaurant or a store.
Okay.
So when you go to a restaurant in San Diego, you need to see wine from San Diego. You need to see our wine from Ramona. So as diners, people need to ask when they go in a restaurant, do you have local wine? Do you have San Diego wine?
Oh, that's perfect.
So
That's easy.
Yes.
Right? That's an easy. Hey, do you have Ramona
Right.
wines?
Right.
San
Do you
Diego.
have San Diego wines? In San Diego wines, we've got to make enough wines at the right price point that these restaurants will want to carry it. Because the restaurants will come back, you don't have enough, or you don't have it at a wholesale price point that I can carry. So, right, so the wineries have got to work with the restaurants and the hotels and the hospitality industry. It's not one-sided, but that's a way to get in and have wine shops carry your wine. Then people know, people come on vacation. We get a lot of people from LA, right? Kind of a day trip or weekend trip. A lot of people have already been to San Diego. They may have come years ago, right, with their kids, did Legoland and the zoo.
SeaWorld.
They want to do something different, and
the kids got older.
Kids got older, or they come every year for a convention. Like a lot of people that come from the conventions, it's like, oh, here's something different on this year than when we're doing the convention.
That's perfect. So that's hopefully we can help grow Ramona that way. That's one reason. Another reason is trying to do these podcasting and kind of grow and hopefully share and pass this along. And for the listeners, make sure you tell somebody else about Ramona. That's kind of how it's just word of mouth.
Yeah,
that's the best marketing. And kind of, I feel like I know social media is great and everything, but the word of mouth is really what sells.
Well, actually, the best way to market is to do good work.
Okay.
That's the single best way to market.
Customer service and great bottles of wine.
Yep, and that's what a lot of people remember. I mean, I am watching people just pour their lives into this. Yeah, everything, their families' lives. So they are doing good work. And then you do good work, and that is the best way to market.
Yeah, that's great. This was part 1 of Ramona Wine Region. I had our special guest, Susanne, owner, winemaker, and the current RVVA president. If you're watching this episode on YouTube, I put a map of Ramona/San Diego so you can see where Ramona is and how close it is to downtown San Diego. If you're listening, when you get a chance, Google Ramona Wines or Google Ramona Wine Regions, and you'll have thousands of articles and wineries you can check out and visit the area. To our sponsor, I want to give a special thank you to them, Castelli Family Vineyards, where you can taste the love of the wine. Make sure you follow them and like them on Facebook, Instagram at CastelliFV. Make sure you listen to part 2, where we're going to discuss a little bit more about Ramona and the wines that are coming out of this area. And that will be posted next Friday. Lastly, a very big thank you to everyone listening and watching. I'm your host, Nelson Pizarro. This is Life in a Wine Bottle. Make sure to subscribe to our YouTube channels and Spotify, iTunes, and Google Play. Look forward to seeing you guys next time. Thank you.